Well, good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Palm Springs Unified School District regular meeting of the Board of Education. Today is Tuesday, December 12th, 2023. I would now like to call the meeting to order with a roll call, please.
Board Member Durrell. Board Member Irvin.
Here.
Board Member Cornett. Here. Board Clerk Espericueta.
Here.
Board President Girardi.
Here.
And I have Student Board Member Gonzalez
Here.
and Student Board Member Ledesma.
Here.
Thank you. Would you all please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance that will be led by our Board Clerk, Sergio Espericueta?
Ready? Begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Please be seated. Next up, we're going to have our student board member, Philip Gonzalez, read our mission statement for us.
All members of Palm Springs Unified School District are united in our community to equity. We create deep, meaningful learning opportunities, build professionalism, and engage parents and community to ensure success for all students. All students graduate with the skills, capacities, and confidence needed to succeed in a rapidly changing world.
Thank you very much, Philip. Item 6 is report of closed session actions. Clerk Espericueta, are there any closed session actions to report this evening?
President Girardi, yes, we have one item to report. The board meet with its illegal counsel and real property negotiation in closed session pursuant to Government Code Section 54956.8. By unanimous vote, the board approved a purchase and sale agreement for the sale at the district building located at 1000 East Taquis Canyon Way, Palm Springs, as identified in the agenda, to the Agua Caliente Band Acawila Indians of the Agua Caliente Indian Reservation, California, and further approved a delegation of authority to the superintendent to make any further not substantive revision necessary to finalize the purchase and sale agreement.
Okay. Thank you very much, Sergio. I would like to note that we will have a copy or two of the purchase and sale agreement printed for anybody in the audience that would like one after we just took our vote later today. Item number 7 is approval of the agenda. Can we get a motion to approve the agenda? I would like to request that the board action item 14J be moved after board action item 14M. Can we get a motion?
Move for approval.
I have a motion. How about a second, please?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you very much. Item 8 is our student board member reports. So first up, we'll have Juliana Ledesma from Desert Hot Springs High School with her report. Smile. Smile.
Good afternoon. I'm Juliana Ledesma from Desert Hot Springs High School, and this is my October through December updates. On our agenda, we have sports, our homecoming, outstanding students, and our community involvement. So starting off with our sports, we had the pleasure of honoring our seniors from all of our sports, ranging from band and color guard, cheer, football, cross country, tennis, golf, and volleyball. Our fall teams had a fantastic outcome this season. Many seniors got the opportunity to enjoy their season, and some even made it to the finals and CIF. Our football team made history this year, making it all the way to the semifinals. Our boys and girls cross country team had the opportunity to run at Mount Sac for CIF, and our girls tennis team made it to the first round of CIF, and our girls golf to day 2 of finals, and one of our girls making it to second team DVL. Next up, we have homecoming. Our homecoming festivities began October 10th and ended on the 14th with our dance on campus. Our spirit week consisted of Twin Day, Stripes versus Hearts, White Lie Day, and our class colors. We ended the week with our our homecoming rally in our gym, celebrating all of our fall sports and special performances from our dance team and cheer team, and we played some games with our students. Next up, we have our outstanding students. Our students were recognized this month for their achievements and their hard work, and were recognized by the mayor. Community involvement, we have drives, our Interact Club, other schools around DHS, and Red Ribbon Week. Our Community Service Committee hosted a canned food drive throughout the month of November and donated our cans and turkeys to our staff and families around the community. They also hosted a Say No to Drugs Marvel-themed decorating door contest for Red Ribbon Week, promoting saying no to drugs. Our Interact Club, members of our Interact Club have volunteered at events like the Bubbling Wells Halloween Festival, Dia de los Muertos event at the Coachella Valley Museum, and much more. We hosted the DHS Elementary flag football game at the DHSHS football stadium. Our kids had a great time. And here's some reports from one of our middle schools, Desert Springs Middle School. Their Interact Club with their mayor, their marching band performing with our DHSHS band at the Christmas parade and the Spelling Bee winners. And one of their upcoming events is their winter concert, December 14th, from 5:30 to 7:30. And that's it for me. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Juliana. Next up, we have Philip from Rancho Mirage High School. What?
Hi, my name is Philip Gonzalez. I'm the Rancho Mirage High School Student Board Representative, and this is my report. First, I want to start off with our Race Academy. Our Race stands for the Rattler Automotive Careers Education. It's our automotive program designed to challenge students to a higher standard of learning in the automotive field. Our Rattlers have been to drag races and car shows in the past few months. Next, for our class of 2024, we had our senior karaoke night. This was an event to allow our students to have some fun before their finals. Next, we have our CIF football game. Our football team made it to the first round of CIF. Although we didn't make it very far, we did end up losing 34-35 in this game, but we did have a lot of fun. Our theme was Party in the USA, which our students were able to wear red, white, and blue. We have our football achievements. Our season did get cut short due to the first CIF game, but our Rattlers did fight hard, and we ended up having our offensive MVP for DEL being our junior quarterback. We had 8 first team for DEL and 6 second teams with 2 honorable mentions. And they were also the first ever DEL champs in our school's history. Next, we have our volleyball achievements. Although they didn't have the best season, they did have a really good fight. And we had our senior middle blocker for first team and our freshman setter for second team. We also had 2 honorable mentions for DEL. Next, moving on to our winter sports. First, we have our boys and girls basketball team. Our girls basketball team had just started their season. They also have Citrus Valley this Friday. Our boys basketball team are 9-2 overall for the season. They're off to a pretty good start. They also went to they had Newbury Park next Wednesday, and they also went to Morro Bay Tournament a few weeks ago. Next, we have our boys and girls soccer teams. Our boys are 2-1, and they are playing against Coachella Valley High School today. And we also have our girls soccer team, which have been doing really well. They are 5-1, and they play Redlands this Friday. Next, we have our girls water polo team. They are having a rough start to the season, but they are definitely having a really good fight every single game. These are definitely some dedicated girls. They also have Indio High School this Thursday. And finally, for our winter sports, we have our boys and girls wrestling team. Our girls wrestling team is they are 2-1, and they have one tie. They went to Norco High School this past weekend, and both of our teams play at Shadow Hills High School tomorrow. And our boys team is 3-1 currently. We went to Eleanor High School this past weekend, also going to Shadow Hills. And a familiar face went to Palm Springs this past Wednesday in support, even though he might have been rooting for the other team. I know he definitely was watching me too. Next, we have our Fright Night performances. This was on October 25th. It was performances from our dance team, our dance classes, our choir, and our Rattler Regiment. And then we also had our two-night show focused on dance, which was our winter dance show. This was performances from our from our dance classes and our dance team. And speaking of our dance team traveled to La Quinta High School for their annual showcase. They were able to perform 2 different pieces, and La Quinta hosted 2 different games, which our dance team coach, Mia, ended up winning the coaches competition, and they had a dance battle at the end, and our junior Leon Salcido ended up winning that too. So we did take both competitions, so we know who the best dance team is. And finally, we have our Festival of Lights parade. It was the parade in Palm Springs for the holiday season, and this was when our Rattler Regiment and our Color Guard both came and performed. And that's it. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Philip. Great job, both of you. Next up is item 9, which is a special recognition. The governing board wishes to recognize and commend the following employees of the month for December 2023. I believe we have a couple of videos to introduce these employees. Okay.
First, we'd like to honor Carolina Torres, if you want to come up. I'm going to give you this, and I'm going to read some nice things about you. Carolina Torres has worked with Palm Springs Unified School District for 2.5 years. She is a staff member that models leadership, knowledge, empathy towards others, and the ability to perform her duties effectively. Carolina is often the first person that families and staff members interact with in the administration office. She greets everyone with a smile, provides high-quality customer service, assists staff, students, and families, all while navigating the needs of the school site in a very busy environment. She is a pillar in the administration office and has created positive relationship with staff, students, and family. Carolina has taken on the leadership role, such as our Vista Del Monte Wellness Champion, and is the point contact for enrollment for our dual immersion program. She is very active in our family events and is always willing to lend a helping hand for workshops or campus activities. Vista Del Monte would not be the same without Carolina. Carolina, on behalf of the students and staff of Vista Del Monte Elementary School, members of the governing board, and administration, it's a pleasure to present you with this plaque as recognition as Classified Employee of the Month for December 2023. Is there anyone in the audience you'd like to recognize?
Oh my gosh. I have to talk? Well, my family, of course, for supporting me every day, and the great administrators that we have at our school, Ms. Cerner and Ms. Santos. They truly teach me every day, and I wouldn't be here without them, and the amazing teachers and staff at VDM. Thank you, and thank you everyone for coming out today.
Thank you. Did you get a picture already? No.
You good? Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
My hands are freezing, I'm sorry.
Okay. Unfortunately, Lauren Ross couldn't be with us tonight, so we'll make sure we get her a plaque to her, please. Okay. That's it. Okay, item 10 is public comments. All comments are to be directed to the board. Please be under 3 minutes and shall be devoid of any personal attacks. Members of the public are expected to maintain a professional, courteous decorum during public comments. Please understand that board members do not respond during public comments as they're not agendized topics. I do have 3 public comments, or 3 speaker cards, I should say. So we'll start with Yvette Ramirez, please.
Hello. This is actually my first time here, so I'm really excited. But I really don't know how this works. But I'm just like a concerned parent for special education up in Desert Hot Springs especially. I have 2 boys with autism, and it seems like in the school that my youngest son is at, the staff they're very understaffed with aides, and I've had to pull him out of school, and just because there's not enough aides. So my main concern is that I just want him to get the best education there, and I have had to move schools before because of my oldest son, and I can't do that now. I just want to make sure that he gets the proper education, and not to be pulling him out of school, and the right amount of staff, and for the teachers to take us parents serious. And so I would really like to see more aides instead of just one, and not pulling him out of school when I just see one aide and she's just so overwhelmed with things. And I just want what's best for all the kids in the class as well. What else? Just mainly that. I just want him to get the best education possible, because my oldest son got to be here with Palm Springs Unified, and he's been doing amazing. And they've had such good, he's had such good success with Palm Springs and Cathedral City. It's just, now I live in Desert Hot Springs, and I would just like to see more from the staff there, and more aides as well. It just, there's so many things that are concerning there at Bubbling Wells especially, and I just want him to get the best education possible instead of pulling him out of school. But I'm sorry if I'm ranting on. This is my first time, so that's all. Thank you.
Thank you very much. You did just fine. Thank you. Next up, I believe it's Ashley Randall.
All right, good evening. My name is Ashley Randall. Time is short, so I'll skip the niceties. I'm the mother of 3 children within the district, one of whom has special needs in the K-1 SPED program at Bubbling Wells. I've expressed concerns repeatedly about staffing, safety, and IEP violations, and I'm not alone in this. Teachers, specifically SPED teachers and paraprofessionals, are dropping like flies from Bubbling Wells, but that hasn't set off any red flags to the district. People don't leave bad jobs. They leave bad leadership, poor management, and lack of appreciation for their efforts. It is continually passed on to the teachers to figure it out, and parents like me are repeatedly told that the schools are fully staffed and that the standard for ratio of paraprofessionals is set by the state. And that's true. You guys are doing the bare legal minimum requirement of paraprofessionals. I want to know if you would ask kids in your schools to only give 60% because that's passing. Would you be okay with your employees telling you they were only going to do the bare minimum to keep their job? You wouldn't, but you're asking us to accept the bare minimum for our children. Are you aware that a 5-year-old SPED student eloped and went missing for over 30 minutes at Bubbling Wells last week, and that was my child? I was not called until well after the incident was over. No police were called to search, even though in pediatric studies, 65% of special needs children that eloped were in danger of a traffic injury. When a child goes missing, every minute counts, and finding them is more important than covering up negligence. The cherry on top, he was not the only SPED kid to elope and go missing that day. Palm Springs Unified has an annual revenue of roughly $404 million, with current expenses in the $344 million range. It spends $208 million on instruction, $122 on support, and $14 on other. Where the $60 million of revenue goes after expenses and what the other $14 is spent on, I don't know, but it's not our kids and it's not our teachers. This doesn't include donations that you receive, like the $85,000 just this year from the Anderson Children's Foundation. I took accounting and marketing in high school. I took business management in college. I'm not ignorant to the complexity of finance, and I'm not here to tell you how to balance your budget. Tonight, I'm here to advocate not just for my children, but all of the special needs children, parents, teachers, and paraprofessionals within your district. I'm lucky enough to be well-versed in my rights and my child's, and I continue to inform other SPED parents of theirs. Because that is how you use privilege, and that is how you advocate for those without a voice. I'm gonna make it a point to be at every meeting, coffee chat, town hall, to advocate for all of us until I see change. There's an ancient proverb that a fish rots from the head down, and so these failures would fall on you. I'm not gonna allow the buck to constantly be passed to teachers and paras, and I'm not gonna let you sit here and fail our kids. Myself and other parents are tired of being the support for teachers. Lastly, I'm here to remind you that you answer to your constituents. 2 of your seats open up in 2024, the other 3 in 2026. Your leadership is not a title, it is a behavior, and we expect you to act like it, or else we'll find someone who will. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, next up is Dominic Moonhart.
Hello, Mr. President. Is this general public comment or is this agenda item comment? Because I would like to speak on item 13.
You can. That's
I
fine.
can right now?
Uh-huh.
Okay. Well, I just would like to second what those two previous constituents said, because I'm openly autistic and I've experienced discrimination and favoritism, but I don't want to talk about that right now. I want to talk about the election of the president and the clerk for the Board of Education. I would like the board to nominate and unanimously vote for my trustee for District 2, Sergio Espiricueta, to be the next president of the Board of Education. We need different and diverse leadership in that post. President Jarrell, thank you very much for your leadership in your post. I believe that my council member should be the next person to be the president of the Board of Education. He's proven himself, and we need diverse leadership. We have a diverse board. Let's have diverse leadership and take turns in being president of the Board of Education. I also want to nominate Charlie Irvin to be the board clerk for this year. Same reason, same discussion. He's proven himself, and all of you could serve in these roles. Let's take turns with these roles. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, Dominic. Okay. Clerk Espiricueta, have we received any email comments this evening?
We have not received any electronic comment this night.
Okay, thank you very much. Next up is item 11, board member comments. Do we have any comments from the board this evening? Anybody? Yeah, Madonna?
There we go. Good evening. Recently, I attended our unconscious bias training with the district. We've been asking to be invited, and I was glad to attend the training on a Saturday with about 50 to 60 other people. And I just want to read the equity statement that our district is committed to an equitable, socially just, anti-racist educational system that is based on fairness, dignity, democracy, in order to foster student success. We serve and honor our diverse student body. We also honor our adult people, our adult employees and staff in our district as well. In regards to ethnicity, language, culture, national origin, socioeconomic status, age, physical and mental ability, sexual orientation, gender identity, and religious beliefs and family structure. We here at Palm Springs Unified are committed to be an anti-racist, anti-discriminatory learning community, and that is for everyone. That creates safe learning spaces where all students and staff are welcomed, included, and respected. So we have our final line is every student, every day. And after the unconscious bias training, I really think that these days in our lives, in our society, and in our work in our district with children and people, we need to remember that. Also, part of the training on conscious bias included our land acknowledgement. The Palm Springs Unified School District acknowledges the Cahuilla as the original stewards of the land on which Palm Springs Unified School District facilities now sit. We are grateful to have the opportunity to work with the indigenous people in this place. We pay our respect to the Cahuilla people, past, present, and emerging, who have been here since time immemorial. So those are two takeaways from my training, along with about 50 to 60 other people, that not only do we honor our staff, employees, children, and our Cahuilla, but we continue to do the work, and we continue to train all of our employees, and I encourage our board members to attend the unconscious bias training. So that was about one of the special events that I did get to attend, along with so many wonderful activities. One highlight was, I'm just going to say that I had Board Member Irvin and Board Clerk Espericueta with me at the Engagement Center presenting to the parents that night about the state of the district. That was really important, and we learned a lot about perhaps what we can do to help communicate to our parents now that we have Parent Square, and how we can, and it was Anna Matthews that said how we can do, make a plan to reach parents because some parents are not getting the messages. We found out that there is now going to be citizenship classes, and many people might not know about that. There are going to be STEM events, science events at the middle schools, and we may have to be innovative and help communicate to parents beyond the calling trees or beyond the messages that are sent via emails. So that was a highlight. There's so many things that have been happening in the district that are exciting, and oh my gosh, I was reflecting on all of the events that I didn't have a chance to go to, the musical concerts and the band concerts, and I think that a highlight of our district, and when I was talking to the parent engagement group, we are so rich in helping to remember that kids need to learn outside of Palm Springs Unified. So sending students to Portugal, to Hollywood to compete in a band competition, to Japan, sending our teachers for training out of state is really eye-opening, and that helps us be a world-class district. So those are just a little bit of the reflections that I want to share tonight.
Thank you, Madonna. Anybody else have anything they'd like to share?
Yes. So I as well attended the event with Madonna with the Family Engagement Center. It was definitely intriguing and something interesting to hear. It's always great to hear what parents are thinking and how they feel about our district. It's something that we definitely need to pay attention to. On December 1st through the 3rd, I attended a conference in San Francisco, and we were there for 2 or 3 days. We had a wonderful time. It was the superintendent, John, and also Sergio Espericueta was there as well. We went to a couple of different classes. One of the classes that I went to was about AI, and it was just talking about how it's in our schools, it's in our district, it's everywhere. So we have to learn to embrace the AI technology. There's certain tools that have been put in place that can that can give you an opportunity to be able to teach from. So we can see our students who are learning and using ChatGPT. We can go back in as teachers and administrators and correct what they're using, and use the tool to be able to find out what they're doing and if they're using ChatGPT. Also, one of the ones that was the most exciting for me was UCLA and Cal Berkeley is working. They have created housing for teachers and administration. That's the second time I went to that. I think that we have a major issue with housing here in all of our neighboring cities and here in Palm Springs. And I think that it's a great opportunity. Los Angeles has built, I think it's 5 different projects. There are at least 130 homes. Some of them were condominiums as well. It just gives the school and the city an opportunity to retain employment and give our teachers and our administration an opportunity to live in the communities of which they work. So that was a great one. On December the 5th, Philip showed you guys the photo of his wrestling match. I went to Palm Springs versus Rancho Mirage. My son was wrestling. Unfortunately, he wasn't wrestling against Philip because Philip is an animal. Philip is very aggressive when it comes to wrestling. Don't let that smooth face fool you at all. When they say go, he jumps on top of everyone. He is very aggressive. I was so surprised. I never would have thought he was that aggressive. So that was a great experience. I went to also the APAC general meeting, And that was also great as well. There's a program that they have available from our fire department that mentors and leads our young students into these fire programs that they have available. It's twice a week. The captain that was training and teach the class, his name is Franco, and it's from students from the ages of 15 to 21. He was just explaining about how great the program is. And unfortunately, during COVID, beforehand, they had a lot of students there. And after COVID, they have not been able to pick up the participation. So they're really interested. They're looking for students to join this firefighting program. So if you guys know anyone out there, it's a great opportunity for them to learn how to be firefighters. And firefighters have a great career as well as helping to provide to save us.
Thank you, Charlie. Karen?
Well, lots of things have been covered. We've had lots of student activities this month. Just to add for a few things, I want to thank Juliana and Philip for your excellent reports tonight and all the good things that are happening at our schools, and also to the people that provided public comment tonight. I think our staff has heard what they had to say. I also had the honor of attending the retirement celebration of LaSonia Pitts, who has led a very distinguished career in our district. She's been filling in as our interim superintendent of HR, and she has been in HR for a long time. I wish her all the best. I also want to say, wish everybody a very safe, happy, healthy, and wonderful winter break. And since I have bronchitis, I really can't talk very loud. So
Thank you, Karen.
thank you.
Sergio?
Thank you, yeah. Thank you to all public comments, parents and community members. Also, I want to thank the student board members, Ledesma and Gonzalez, for your great presentation. And in November 16, I had the opportunity to present a stay at the district to DILAC. It's a District English Learner Advisory Committee. Was a good turnout, almost 100% of the parents representing the 27 schools show up. Also in November 17, I attended with board member Charlie Erwin and the stay at the district presented by Madonna. I want to appreciate Joanne Voico for encourage us to do more presentation around the school district boundary to keep everyone updated about what happened in the school district. Also, in November 30 to December 2nd, I attended the annual education conference in San Francisco with board member Charlie Erwin, John Gerardi, and Superintendent Signoret. At the conference, we had a big round option to choose to attend. We cannot attend all, but we try to attend the most. I attended one that called it a student voice. That one is how to engage and develop student board members into future leaders. This section covers legal requirement, benefit to governance teams at having student board members, and of course, benefit for the students. And also, I attended the California Latino School Board Association lunch with the special speaker like Tony Turmont, California State Superintendent of Public Instruction, and Alberto Carvalho, Superintendent of Los Angeles Unified School District. The Unified in Los Angeles have around 600,000 students. Also, I attended with the board members Brown Act Basic, Transparency, Community Involvement, Government Accountability, and more. That helped us to refresh our knowledge about Brown Act and other important issues. Also, another example is the dual enrollment, the policy and data landscape for equitable partnership and practice. This school district already have the dual enrollment with the College of the Desert, but they give another extra idea how to improve that part. Also, another one was the dual language learner and early literacy. That one is focused in the TK, the transitional kindergarten, and they give good report about how beneficial it is to have dual language classes in the school district. In December 4, I attended also with the Palm Springs Mayor Pro Tem, now is the Mayor, Jeffrey, in the community meeting in Vista del Monte Elementary. I don't know who sent the text to him. I think it was between us, and I attended, and was good report from him about what happening in the city of Palm Springs. For example, he reports that the money to do the bridge by Indian is almost ready complete, until 75 millions. And that one is good benefit for the city, good benefit for the school district too. Better connection with Desert Hot Spring. And in December 6th, I attended the Cathedral City Winter Choir concert, but I was too early. And instead to stay in that, to wait to the event, I stopped in the gym to watch the game, the men basketball game between Cathedral City High School and Coachella Valley High School. They lose with a little bit, but they have very good team, the Cathedral City High School. Was actually the first game of the season. And also I came a little bit from the La Sonia Pitts retirement celebration. And in December 11, I attended a little bit also with Charlie about the APAC Zoom meeting with a good guest presenter, Captain Franco Pineda from the fire department. Was a good presentation about the program that they have for youth students. And this morning I attended the River County Office of Education greets Coachella Valley student at the month kickoff. I want to say in general, they honor the one student for each high school in the 3 school district. Was a good event, and congratulations to all. And that is it, and I want to wish a happy holiday to everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, Sergio. Excuse me. I understand our student board members have something they'd like to share with us.
I would like to thank the members of the board for the opportunity given to myself and along with the other student board members to visit San Francisco and attend the CSBA conference. We were able to connect with students from all over California and gain new perspectives and ideas to incorporate into our responsibilities as board members. So thank you.
Thank you. Philip?
I just want to add on to that. I want to thank you guys very much for the opportunity. There's definitely a lot of networking that we were able to do, especially from people like up north, which was really cool because I would never be able to do that just being in the valley. So it was a really fun opportunity.
Great. Well, thank you both. We were honored that you were able to represent us up there as student board members. Thank you very much. As they said, many of us attended the California School Board Association's conference in San Francisco. We all tried to attend various sessions. We all attended the Brown Act session together, and it was pretty informative. I think it was just too brief, and I'll suggest later that we have a Brown Act training for all of us, so we all hear it together. We're all on the same page. I pretty much went to governance-type sessions, like creating a governance handbook and superintendent evaluation and board evaluations. And I've got to say, I mean, we have some work to do, but we're on the right track as far as California School Board Association's advocating. We do a lot of right stuff. We have more we could do, but I think what they're advocating, we even take it to a further level, and we just need to enhance and improve that a little bit more. I also went to one on labor negotiations and an overview of collective bargaining. So on that one, I want to thank everybody. I know we're in the midst of negotiating right now with our unions, and I want to thank everybody for their hard work in that endeavor. And I'm sure this board is really pulling for a collaborative resolution as soon as we can possibly get one. I might be stealing the superintendent's thunder, but since our last board meeting, Superintendent Senior A recognized some 2023 Educators of the Year, and so I would like to publicly address that if I'm not taking it away from you. Okay. First of all is our Principal of the Year, Aaron Tarzanian from Rio Vista Elementary School, the principal over there. Our Certificated Administrator of the Year is Betsy Gomez from Julius Corsini Elementary School. She's the principal there. Our Classified Employee of the Year is Angelica Rodas from Rio Vista Elementary School Site Secretary. Our Site Support Employee of the Year from Rancho Mirage High School, the College and Career Specialist, Yvonne Henderson. Our Confidential Employee of the Year is Olivia Castellanos, the Senior Human Resource Specialist. Sarah Phelps, excuse me, thank you very much. Sarah Phelps is our Classified Administrative of the Year. Sarah is our Nutrition Services Director. And our School Counselor of the Year is Vernice Torres, Cathedral City Elementary School Counselor. Congratulations to all of you. We're very, very proud of you for the work you do for our school district. I guess I just want to finish with what everybody else has been saying is I hope everybody enjoys their break, takes some time off, get some rest, spend time with your families, recharge your batteries, and then we'll come back for the second half and knock it out, okay? All right, so happy holidays, everybody, and with that, I'll turn it over to the superintendent.
Thank you, President Girardi. First, I'd like to thank Mrs. Ramirez, Mrs. Randall that came in and spoke. We'll definitely be following up and trying to do everything possible to assist them. Understandably, the issue with employee shortage, even at the paraprofessional rank, is something that I know our Human Resources Department is working diligently to close those gaps. But nonetheless, we'll be very attentive to their concerns and be responsive to that. I also just want to thank the board, the time with board member Irvin and board clerk Espericueta, board president Girardi at CSBA, also Juliana and Philip. I know I came in early. I tried to visit the student board members, but I was told you guys were way too busy for me, and so I wasn't able to be there. But heard that you guys did a tremendous job, and so thank you for representing us. But also want to thank Erika Barragan and Monica Borrego for getting our student board members to all activities and to the event very safely. And I heard that you guys had a great time too, so I was very glad to hear. But again, just like the board mentioned, the event was very productive, great sessions, but also a great way to connect and network with other board members and administrators from across the state. Relative to the HR note, as board member Karen Cornett and others mentioned about Lasagna Pitt's retirement, it was a wonderful event. We wish Lasagna all the best in her future endeavors. We're currently advertising the position of Assistant Superintendent of HR, and we hope to have a recommendation for board approval come mid-February. So in the meantime, to help oversee our HR and risk department, as well as to assist us during board meetings, we're excited to bring a familiar face back, and that will be Dr. Brian Murray. He'll be joining us temporarily after the new year and through the duration of our recruitment. So we're very grateful he'll be lending us a hand in this at this level. I do want to do a quick shout out also to CCHS esports team, and hopefully I get this correct, but they took top honors at the Riverside County Community Esports Expo. Did I got that right? First in Riverside County. So great shout out to CCHS. Did a great job to them. Also, as board president Girardi mentioned, shout out, I won't repeat all the names, but all our educators of the year. We're so extremely proud of you and all the work that you have done and the representation for our district. And last but not least, also wish everybody a wonderful holiday. Board, our student board members, cabinet, all our staff, all our leadership team, and all our students. I know my kids are reminding me every single day, Poppy, 4 more days till vacation. Poppy, 3 more days. So I know everybody else is probably on that same countdown too, but well deserved. So please enjoy with family and friends. So thank you. That concludes my comments.
Through item 12, item 13 is our board organizational meeting. It's the annual board organizational meeting, and 13A is election of the president of the governing board. We will now open nominations for the board president. Do we have a nomination?
I nominate Madonna as president.
Okay, we have a motion for Madonna. Do we have a second? Madonna seconds,
She
okay.
accepts.
All right, so we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
And I'm going to oppose. Okay, item 13B is election of the clerk of the governing board. Do we have a motion?
I nominate Charlie Irwin.
Charlie, how about a second? We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Wait, do you want to do it?
Don't I gotta see if I want to do it? Huh? Don't I get to accept or not?
It's
Yes.
automatic.
No. Of course you do.
Do you not want it?
No, I'm not ready for it.
You're not?
Next year it'll probably be better. I think
Okay.
I'm not
You
ready
so you
for
want
it.
us to pull that nomination?
Yeah, please.
Okay. All right, so Mr. Irvin asked that the nomination be pulled. So can we have another nomination for the clerk of the governing board? I'll nominate Karen Cornett.
I'll accept if everybody else accepts.
How about a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed or abstaining? Okay. 13C is election of the representative for the annual county committee on school district organizations. Currently, that's Karen. Do you want to continue that? Does somebody else want to do that?
I mean, I'll do it. It's not a very active committee right now, so it's fine. When they call upon you, you just need to go.
Somebody want to make a motion for that? Well, let's.
I move.
Okay. We have a motion. How about a second?
Second.
And a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously. So I guess 13D, I'm sorry, we probably should just do all these at once. So that was one. The second one is the bond committee. Right now, the committee members are Charlie and myself. Do you want to stay, keep on that? Anybody else want to do it? Okay. The naming committee, the current members are Sergio and Madonna. You guys want to stay on that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can understand.
The next one is the Head Start Parent Policy Committee, and currently that's Sergio. Do you want to continue, or?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay.
It's okay.
And then the Sponsor Naming Facilities Committee is 2 board members. Right now, that's Karen and Madonna. Is that still okay?
Yes.
Okay. So we need somebody for the Sponsored Naming of Facilities Committee. Anybody interested?
Come on, Charlie.
You want me to- Okay, never meet. All right, I'll do it. They don't ever meet.
Good.
Okay, I'll do it. Next is the Foundation for PSUSD Committee. Current members are myself and Karen. Does anybody else like to be on that? You want to do it?
No.
Anybody?
I'm fine with it.
Okay, I'll stay on it then.
Okay.
Next is the Audit Committee. Currently, it's Charlie and myself. Still good with that? Okay. And then finally, we have the Equity Committee. Right now, that's Sergio and Charlie. You guys good with that?
Yeah. I'm good.
All right, so could I get a motion to move? The Bond Committee will be Charlie Irvin and John Girardi. The Naming Committee will be Sergio Esperacueta and Madonna Jarrell. The Head Start Parent Policy Committee will be Sergio Esperacueta. The Sponsored Naming of Facilities Committee will be Karen Cornett and John Girardi. The Foundation for PSUSD Committee will be John Girardi and Karen Cornett. The Audit Committee will be John Girardi and Charlie Irvin. And the Equity Committee is Sergio Esperacueta and Charlie Irvin. Can I get a motion for that?
So moved.
And how about a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, that approves. Well, you're the president, so come on over. Come on. Yeah, you're the president now.
Oh.
I'll take my can. Yes, please. Thank you.
Are you switching seats with him too?
No. Fine, no.
They don't move? Hi. Haven't seen you in a while. All right, let's give everybody a hand that's here on the board, starting the new year. Yay. And it would be just remiss to not include our former president, John Girardi. Let's please give him a great round of applause. Good people were born on the same day in October, both of us, so it's easy. All right, so we're continuing onto our next page. Yes, 13E. So we are looking right here.
Yes.
Right. Okay, we are looking at item 13E, selection of day, time, and place of regular meetings. So regular meetings of our board will be held on the second and fourth Tuesdays of the month, except when noted on calendar at 6:00 p.m. here in the boardroom of the Palm Springs Unified School District Administration Center, located at 150 District Center Drive, Palm Springs, California, 92264. Can I get a motion to approve item 13E?
I move. For.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, that motion passes. 13F, approval of calendar dates for regular meetings. So this is approval of calendar dates for our regular meetings. Can I get a motion to approve 13F?
Move for approval.
Second?
Second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passed. We also have other places that we will be holding some of our meetings, and those will be announced in the new year, where we'll be holding our meetings in Desert Hot Springs or maybe other school sites. We also, on 13G, have approval of certification of signatures. And this is actually authorizing signatures. Can I get a motion to approve 13G?
Move for approval?
Second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, the motion passes. So next we go to 14, board item actions. 14A, approval of certificated and classified employee transactions, OE 4.4, and we invite Mr. Brian Hendra to introduce our new appointment.
We are very pleased to recommend Mrs. Rebecca Noel Gutierrez for the Coordinator of Special Education, Learning and Improvement. Mrs. Gutierrez earned her bachelor's and master's degrees from Azusa Pacific University. She started her career with PSUSD as a middle school language arts teacher in 2004. In 2015, she was promoted to the position of language arts TOSA, and in 2022, she was promoted to assistant principal of Desert Springs Middle School. In addition to her history with PSUSD, she's recently started consulting with Dr. Caitlin Tucker on blended learning strategies. Principal Sue Drummond says Mrs. Gutierrez has a keen eye for systems monitoring them and plans to improve them. Additionally, Dr. Killian, Director of Secondary Education, says that Mrs. Gutierrez has an innate ability to navigate challenges with grace and resourcefulness, always striving for solutions to benefit the entire educational community. We are thrilled to have Mrs. Gutierrez transition to her new role as a coordinator for special education, learning, and improvement. We believe her skill set and her professional development and her ability to create systems will be a great addition to the team. Congratulations, Mrs. Gutierrez. Do you have any comments you'd like to share for the board and superintendent? Anyone would you like to recognize this evening?
Yes, please. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Hendra. I'd like to thank the board, our superintendent, and our cabinet for this opportunity. I am so grateful to be given this opportunity to work with the special education department, and I'm very excited about it. I would also like to thank my husband, Russ, for all of his support and encouragement. And I'd like to thank the DSMS administration team, as well as the students and the staff. It has been an honor to have served you as assistant principal. I promise that in this new position that I will work hard to support all students, all staff, and families as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay.
Make her do something else.
Can I get a motion to approve the following employment agreements? Employment agreement with Noel Gutierrez, Coordinator of Special Education, Learning and Improvement, Salary Schedule 223, Column 4, Step 16, effective January 8, 2024. Right, that's right. Can I get a motion, please?
I'll move.
All right. Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Excellent. Next,
Congratulations, Noel.
I'm sorry? Hey, congratulations, Noel. Approval of monitoring report governing policy, operational expectations, personnel administration, OE4. Approval of this report will be introduced by our superintendent, Dr. Signoret, and Brad Sauer.
Yes, thank you, President Terrell. Actually, we're going to be with Ms. Lasagna Pitts not here this evening. We're going to have our HR Director of Labor Relations, Mr. Brad Sauer. This is our annual report on personnel administration and gives a general overview of our progress with personnel-related matters. So, Mr. Sauer, I turn it over to you.
Thank you, Dr. Signoret. Good evening, Board. I'm here, and I appreciate this opportunity to present Board OE number 4 on personnel administration. This report is a summary of 2022-2023 data relative to human resources. A copy of this report was provided to the board in last Friday's communication, so you do have it in detail. Therefore, I'm just going to highlight some of the most important and salient points and aspects this evening of the report, but I'll gladly address any questions that the board may have on any aspect of the report. With that said, I'd like to first address area number 2, which is the superintendent will conduct thorough background inquiries and checks prior to hiring paid personnel. For the 2022-23 school year, we conducted thorough background checks on the newly hired 208 certificated employees and 202 classified employees, inclusive of management. This included the review of mandatory live scan clearance and background checks. We are pleased to report we have met expectations and we're in compliance with this expectation. But nonetheless, we will not be complacent and we will continue to make this expectation a top priority for our department. The next section I'd like to highlight is number 3. It states that the superintendent will assure that no volunteer who has unsupervised contact with students is permitted to serve without first having cleared reasonable background checks. Our numbers have increased tremendously from the first post-pandemic year. Immediately after the pandemic, we had 55 volunteers. For the 2022-2023 school year, we processed 1,002 volunteers, all of which passed DOJ, FBI, and Megan's Law clearance, as well as 44 walk-on coaches. To support our volunteers, the district invested over $24,000 to cover the cost of their clearance. Volunteers and walk-on coaches are extremely important to our district, and we're proud to support the board's initiative. Policy 4 states that the superintendent will select the most highly qualified and best suited candidates for all positions, selecting in-district candidates whose qualifications are deemed to be equal, considering both qualifications and suitability. The superintendent will ensure that the district hiring practices reflect a firm commitment to diversity, equity, and inclusion. It is my understanding that the columns on the chart shown on page 5 of the report that had been shared with you previously may be a little unclear. The chart will be updated with correct column headers and resubmitted to you in your Friday report this Friday. The chart specifically refers to 2 key data pieces. The certificated hires column is specific to the 2022-2023 recruitment season, and the employee percentages relates to the total number of classified and certificated employees for the 23-24 school year. The data demonstrates a positive trend in the district's recruitment effort with a commitment to diversity.
I was the one that had the question about that issue. Is there any way that you can put it up there so the people can see what you're speaking of?
It was shared with me moments before that we did not load the presentation onto this laptop.
Oh, okay.
So I apologize for that.
Okay. Okay.
Can I ask something, Dr. Sauer? It's the 4th column over. It says certificate employees percent for 2022-23 on page 5.
I'm sorry, I'm having to get there on my printed page. Yes.
There seems to be a confusion and maybe a difference of interpretation. Does that mean that the total number of certificated employees, the percent for each of these groups for the 2023, that's the total number in our district? Or is that the people hired this year?
That is the total number of employees in our district.
That's the total of certificated.
Of certificated. There is also a column for classified as well, yes.
That was the confusion, is that was it the ones that we hired this year, or was it the total number? That's the confusion.
Thank you. And we have updated that in the presentation to share with you on your Friday. The far right column reflects the 2022-23 recruitment season, specifically the numbers we hired, or the percentages we hired. The 2 previous columns for classified and certificated are specific to the staff makeup, if you will, for that particular year. Okay? Mr. Irvin, is that?
Yeah. So do you have the prior year to see if to support that? You know, I guess it has 2020. Do you have 2021 as well to show that the how many you hired on 2021?
The 2021-2022 recruitment season? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah.
I do not have that data in front of me. I have the same report you do, but we can get that included in your Friday report as well.
Okay.
And that Mr. Irvin, that would have also been in the prior OE4, so we could provide that for you as well. Okay.
I guess I just wanted to make sure that we are in compliance when we're saying that we're providing equity, diversity, and all those different items. I want to make sure that the different years are showing and reflecting that we are making improvements in those groups.
Understood.
To show that we are in compliance.
Understood. Understood. And one factor, if I could just add into this, I know that's not your question, but let me just add in that, well, actually, you're going to be addressing it as far as what our annual attrition is as well, because what's also important, I think we can add some more light on that progress relative to the turnover that we have, which is roughly 7 to 8% or somewhere in that ballpark.
Yes, we're back to normal attrition of 8.7%.
Okay, so we'll add that in there to give it even more perspective for you. Okay.
Thank you.
Any other questions up to this point? Okay. Continuing on, I'd like to address policy number 5, which is the superintendent will administer clear personnel rules and procedures for employees. It is imperative that all personnel understand how to perform the essential functions of their jobs in order to best support student achievement. So to measure our effectiveness in this component, we create, communicate, and implement internal systems to make sure we are in compliance with the education code and our collective bargaining agreements relative to fair and legal working environments. But it is not just systems and processes that make this work, it's also the wonderful relationship we have with PSTA and the Teamsters leadership. Thanks to their collaboration and professionalism, we are able to work extremely well together in resolving matters of concern before they escalate. PSTA and Teamsters are true partners. Consequently, we only received 2 grievances filed by PSTA, both of which were resolved at level 1, which is the lowest level, and 0 grievances filed by Teamsters. Last but not least, I'd like to highlight policy number 9, which states that the superintendent will develop and maintain compensation and benefit plans to attract and retain the highest quality employees within available resources. There are a couple of aspects I'd like to highlight relative to this policy. First, when it comes to salary and benefits, Palm Springs Unified continues to be highly competitive. When compared to our closest competitors, we are first in entry-level teacher salaries, first in top-level teacher salaries, second in health benefits cap, and first in salary schedule and step and range, which in other words means that employees can move to the top of our salary schedule faster than in other neighboring districts. Now, as the board is quite aware, we are currently in negotiations, and upon reaching a tentative agreement, I anticipate we will continue to see progress on this policy, but bottom line is, for number 9, it will remain a top priority during the course of our discussions in negotiations. Also related to this policy, I'd like to highlight the great job overall our district is doing in retaining quality personnel. Prior to the pandemic, our average attrition rate for certificated employees was between 7 and 9%. This number did rise slightly after the pandemic to 12.3%. And this year, we're back to a normal 8.7% attrition, a total of 109. It's also worth noting that none of those that resigned cited the perception of low wages or benefits as the reason for leaving Palm Springs Unified. We do an exit survey that asks their reasons, and those are not their reasons for leaving. On a related note, I'd like to highlight that in addition to our Leadership Academy, which helps train prospective and new leadership among our Palm Springs Unified staff, we now have the highly successful Alder program, which is a true grow our own teacher program. This program has been a vision of ours for many years, and we're extremely excited to see its immediate success. At the end of this year, we hope to have approximately 20 teachers from this program available to hire for the 24-25 school year. In summary, the Human Resources Department will be resubmitting the revised report with the corrections to the recruitment chart columns and the additions that you've asked for in your Friday report for your consideration. We're extremely proud of the work our department and the contributions that all of the department makes towards the success of our district. In particular, I'd like to recognize Martha Haro, Lasagna Pitts, Brian Hindra, and Dennis Zink for their contributions to this report, as well as the entire HR team for their professionalism. This concludes the report from Human Resources for OE4. Any other questions I can assist with?
Board Member Girardi, do you have any questions? How about Board Member Irvin? Board Member? Okay. How about you, Board Member Speriqueta? I think a while back, related to Board Member Irvin's work up in San Francisco and learning about innovative programs to retain teachers, we talked about our people that commute into the valley and perhaps having some types of commuter vans, carpools, and maybe before you were here, Brad, that we mentioned, or I did mention that. So we'd have an incentive for carpooling, saving money, and helping people get in together to similar sites and help with that cost of commuting, because coming through the valley can be a difficult and expensive thing to do daily. So I don't know if other board members are interested in seeing that, perhaps. Yes? No? Well,
What would it be, like a study?
well, it would be a commuter van that would meet at at a site off campus and then come into the school site, and a group of teachers might be dropped off along the way and commute as a carpool. So.
I have added it to our agenda for HR. We can take a look at what options are out there, what other districts are doing, and
Yes.
see if it's a feasible option for us or not.
Thank
Absolutely.
you. Thanks. Thank you. Okay, so can I get a motion to approve? Let's see if I'm in the right place.
So would the approval be on the conditions of the adjustment that's made for the report that we'll see on the Friday's report? So is that how the motion will be
Make it over.
carried?
Is that how that will be carried, with the exception of the changes?
I'm going to look.
What do you want? You just want the additional information?
Yeah, so depending on the approval condition, I guess, with the consideration of the items that they're gonna add into the,
This works right there.
go ahead, give it a shot.
I'd like to make a motion to approve item, approval of monitoring report governing policy, operational expectations, personnel administration, OE4, with the additional condition, we're gonna get additional information in the Friday report per board member Irvin.
Okay,
Second,
for you?
move for approval of that motion.
thank you. Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Here. All right, that was 14B. Next, we look at 14C, the approval of positive certification of solvency first interim for FY 23-24 OE5. Can I get a motion to approve 14C?
I move.
Second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor? Oh, I'm
Aye.
sorry. We have the presentation from Jeff. Thank you.
You're okay to approve if you don't want the presentation. That's all right. Well, I'm up here. I do want to thank Tony Carrillo and the fiscal team, as well as the rest of the departments. We're all a team working together, trying to be budget conscious and making sure that, we're staying at a positive certification, which is what I'll be recommending tonight. As we move forward, the reason why we're doing this is because we need to do an interim, okay. Do I go over here? Apparently we didn't load the PowerPoint, so we got the PDF to deal with, so you'll have to excuse this mouse is a little sophisticated for me. It doesn't have a scrolling ball there, so. But the reason why we do this is because we freeze our budget basically October 31st, and that's called the first interim. So we make projections based on that particular moment and time. And then second interim, the moment in time is as of January 31st. Second interim is always a lot better because it falls in after the governor's budget, so we can make a little bit clearer multi-year projections. But keep in mind when we do make projections, we are making them based on what we know at the particular time. And there's been a lot that has happened since October 31st this particular year. With we've gotten recent enrollment projections that have come in, showing a further decrease in our projected enrollment, and we've also gotten the LAO office, Legislative Analyst Office, that's come through and projected a much lower COLA in those in at least the 24-25 out year. So we've gotten those two data points. So I guess the caveat to this presentation is the data in this as of this date is already out of date. But we're going to go through the presentation, show you where we were at that particular moment in time. And I do have a couple of slides and other information from the state that we can kind of go through as well. So. I know the board has been sent this, so I will kind of go through it rather quickly, but you're welcome to stop and interrupt me anytime. So as we look at the state budget, we already know that there's going to be budget deficits at the state. I think some of the projections that are coming in over the multiple years is upwards of $68 billion right now. As you know, they delayed the tax revenues until October, and then the collections. So they're realizing now that the revenues that are coming in are much lower than what they anticipated, not just for this year, but also for last year. So they're not able to make up for the deficit for last year. Keep in mind that we are very heavily reliant on the state because we are state aid. So, but what the state gets to do here, and I thought this was an interesting slide from one of the economists that I did, and to make up for a $27 billion budget deficit in 23-24, they have a little bit of luxuries like cost shifts and spending delays, spending reductions. Of course, we all can do. Revenue actions and then other, whatever that might mean. So they have a little bit more flexibility with their budget than we do, of course. We could certainly do some cost shifts by analyzing our unrestricted general fund and seeing what can be shifted to particular grants and stuff, but it's not going to be nearly as much as what they can do. Spending delays, I'm sure we can't do much of that because our vendors definitely want their money, but if there's particular programs and stuff that can be postponed, that might be a way to do some spending delays. And I'll go over how this really faces us locally here in just a minute. So this is, as I mentioned, the state was coming in short on revenues, their revenue projections for 23, 24, and 22, 23, and I believe in part 21, 22 as well. So that's how they were making up that huge, they were talking about that huge deficit. But they're also projecting deficits over the next 3 years. Quite a bit of money. So so this bar kind of shows where they're at in that particular budget. Again, this was from an economist about a month ago. This is from the legislative analyst presentation that was about 3 weeks ago. I think you guys might have even got an updated legislative analyst presentation at your conference that might be even newer than this. So overall, the state economy, what economists are saying, what the LAO office is saying, we haven't heard anything from the governor's office yet, is the state economy is currently having a mild turn down. It's a slower and weaker economy because we've had some higher borrowing costs, reduced investments that have cooled the state economy, Federal Reserve setting monetary policy to bring down inflation, cooling trends, and so forth. Historically, these economic conditions, like the ones we're observing now, have implied a weakness for the year ahead. Again, these are just estimates and projections from the LAO office. The LAO office is projecting for 24-25. At this particular moment in time, it was going to be 1% or less. I think recently you might have heard 1.27% COLA for this next year, but again, that's just the LAO office projecting this. We don't know what the governor is going to do on the governor's budget, and particularly the May revise. But more so than ever, we'll be paying a lot closer attention to this, right? Key takeaways. Again, we don't really know what's going to happen with the governor's budget. There's a relatively likelihood Proposition 98 is sufficient to cover that 1% or the 1.2% COLA. There's a reasonable chance that because there might be an augmentation. This is the last year of the governor's office. Elections are coming up. You never know what's really going to happen in that. By augmentation, it could be what they did before. They fully fund COLA and then perhaps add an augmentation. Maybe they will. Maybe there'll be a deficit to that. Honestly, we have not heard from the governor's office. This is just the LAO projections once again. So, all right. Any questions so far on the state budget and where they're going? We have to also keep in mind when it comes to K-12 education, we have two brand new initiatives. The state has added a full another grade level that's going to be in full implementation by 25-26, which is within our multi-year projection. So the expansion of TK that has yet to be fully funded itself. And then the Arts Education Prop 28, which we're just now seeing the estimates starting to come in as to what we're getting for that. So what we're going to end up seeing here as a result of this, we're going to be looking at some reductions perhaps, but you might see some expansions. You're going to see some expansions in the arts because that's new money coming in that's specifically for that. It's through a proposition. The governor can't really cut that money, but he can cut, other areas. He can cut us in our general fund. He can cut those grants that he cut this past year. So it's just kind of a wait and see sort of thing right now. So all this also in conjunction, statewide attendance has been a factor here. The funded ADA is much different than the actual ADA statewide. As you know, as I mentioned before, many districts are based on that 3-year average, which the pre-pandemic, hold harmless ADA amounts came into play. And now those years are starting to fade out of that 3-year average, and we're starting to face where that funded ADA and the actual ADA are kind of coming together, and that's where our decreases are being funded at this particular point. That we continue to decline in enrollment, and that decrease is continuing to happen. And pretty soon that funded ADA, and I'll show a graph here in just a second, that funded ADA and the actual ADA will meet up. And it meets up in this 3-year multi-year projection. So basically what we need to do is we need to make sure that as we reduce an ADA, because we've been reduced in enrollment, that blue bar is the enrollment, the red bar is the actual ADA, and then the green bar is how we've been funded. So you can see even this year we're funded much higher than our actual ADA. So we're enjoying that additional funding, but by 25-26, it's going to reduce drastically and match up with that actual ADA. So we need to start reducing our expenditures to match what we're actually doing, what our actual ADA is. Any questions on the state, or as we move into the ADA questions? Nope. I always like to show this graphic for the board. It's something I made up in regards to local control funding formula. What goes into the LCFF calculator, you hear the LCFF calculator a lot, but you may not know a lot of the details. So what goes into it is property taxes, state aid, and the EPA, which was Prop 55. It's that extra penny or so sales tax that is on all the goods. And so that's what ends up going into it. State aid is last. So first they determine what the property taxes are and the EPA is, and then they make up the difference of what we're supposed to get through state aid. Goes to the calculator. What comes back out is your supplemental concentration grants, your base grant, along with the grade span adjustment, and then some add-ons, small add-ons such as transportation, an intervention add-on, and a little bit for TK.
Quick question for you.
Sure.
On that property tax, what is that 2,000,001?
Excellent question. So that's what's called an in lieu tax that we have to pay to the charter school. It gets made up in the state aid, so we don't lose any money, but we pay a certain portion of our property tax towards Cielo Vista. So you'll see that as part of their revenue. All right, so here's a little bit more of a graphic or Excel look of the local control funding formula. Again, I want you to keep in mind that when we did this particular assumptions, we were under the assumption of 3.94% in 24-25 and 3.29% COLA in 25-26. So if you're looking at those final numbers, total LCFF, this year it's not going to change because we're based on, again, we're paid on the prior 3-year average, so that prior 3-year average is already set. But as you can see, under 3.94%, we were already losing, 2.5, 3 million? And then we were coming back up. So basically over those 3 years, we were going to remain pretty flat. Our expenses don't remain flat, but the revenue is going to remain flat. As you know, utilities go up, salaries go up, and so forth. Now I want to show you a little bit of how, if that were to come true, the 1%, and then I put in 2% for 25-26. We have no idea what that's going to be. There hasn't been any projections on that 3.29 and 25-26, but I think we can assume that if 24-25 is going to lower, that COLA is going to be much lower, then probably 25-26 is as well. They're not going to be able to meet the COLAs that high for at least the next couple of years. So you can see the difference there. In fact, you can see them on the same screen. That's kind of nice with the PDF as opposed to the PowerPoint. How much that affects what our revenues will be. And this is our main source of revenue. We get we get lots of other revenues. We get lottery, Title I, Title II, Title III, and so forth. But this is our main source of revenue. And under this particular condition, you can see how those revenues are going to shift a little bit. Instead of remaining sort of flat those 3 years, we're looking at $14 million loss in revenue over those 3 years. This is where it kind of comes out. Now, I'm not making these next projections are not on this. They're again on the 3.94 that we knew at the time we made this. I just threw this slide in, kind of a last minute thing just to show the board, where we're headed, if you will. So based on the assumptions at the time, like I said, we are looking at deficit spending in our unrestricted funds. This is approximately $13.7 million in this year, $14.5 million next year. Again, these are projections. Anything can change these projections. Any sort of savings and whatnot can change these projections. Any sort of additional expenditures can save it. So, and then that final year is about 9.2. Now, you'll notice that in the next slide, it's going to be fairly even. That's going to be the restricted. What we do is we contribute from the unrestricted to the restricted side for special education and for routine restricted maintenance. Routine restricted maintenance is locked in at 3%. Special ed is not locked in. We have to provide as much special ed as we can that the state and the federal government don't give us. So then we have to make up for that. It's called a contribution, and I'll show you what that contribution looks like. The contributions is the reason for this deficit spending. It goes above and beyond where we were in between revenues and expenditures. If you look at the restricted side, we're not doing too bad. I really wish this was the unrestricted side. So the restricted side is still deficit spending over the 3 years, but the reason why this is in better shape is because the ELOP funds, those after-school funds, is a huge restricted infusion of money that it's quite a bit of money that we're looking to spend as much as we can each year, but there's still quite a bit left over. And this is a promise from. This is technically, the ELOP money is technically considered a one-time grant, but it's a promise from the governor to continue this grant for the after-school programs. We don't know if that promise is going to continue or not, or if this is going to be reduced, but at this particular point, ELOP has not been on the table. It hasn't been mentioned, at least up to this point. All right, next we have just an Excel spreadsheet of the first interim, the unrestricted side. Kind of give you a little bit different viewpoint of it. I showed you the graphic view. This is kind of the spreadsheet view. So you'll notice that the first arrow there is an excess. We're showing actually between revenues and expenditures, we're showing an excess, $27 million right there. But the contributions to special ed and the routine restricted maintenance, $38 million. So we wind up with a deficit from the unrestricted side to the restricted side, which naturally reduces your ending fund balance. And so that ending fund balance on the unrestricted side, as that keeps going down, we have to take money from other areas, but still make sure that we have our 3% reserve. So as you can see, that committed amount from $15.7 million is basically we're having to take it to make up for that deficit spending. All the assignment amounts, again, have been essentially projected to be swept, and same with the unassigned. So the only thing that we would have left is that 3% reserve, and then we do have about $24 million projected in 25-26 still in Fund 17 that we can use to continue to be able to take care of any deficits that might come forth as a result of other things that happen over the next couple of years. So when we look at both of them combined, we say restricted and unrestricted, that's combined general fund. It's not looking too bad. You can see that ending fund balance because that restricted side, as you can see, I'll show you on the next slide actually. The legally restricted, we actually, because of that ELOP funding, even though ESSER funds and stuff are going away, that ELOP grant is still very high and continuing to be strong for us. The same with all the federal government grants and some other state grants there. So it's really the unrestricted side, that unrestricted general fund, that we're going to have to focus on over the next couple years. Now here's where we are as far as other fund balances. Several other funds. What do we have? Another 1, 2, 03, 06, about 10 different funds that the fiscal department is having to work through here. There's no real drastic changes between budget and first interim on these. I don't really have, all the reasons are there, but they're, it's nothing, nothing that was not expected, I guess, if you will. Cielo Vista, just a little bit about how what they're doing, how they're doing. They're doing wonderfully as well, but we did have to reduce their ending fund balance a little bit based on the projections of expenditures. We had to include all of the ELOP funding in there, so there was a heavy increase of budgeted expenditures. We're not too sure if all the ELOP is going to be spent, their ELOP is going to be spent this year, but we ended up budgeting all that ELOP, and there was a little bit of additional ELOP revenue as well. So even though this is a projection right now, if they don't end up spending it all this year, then it's going to go right back into fund balance. And then I thought this next slide would be a little bit interesting for the board to kind of see where we are on the one-time funds. And some of these funds are required to be expended by the 30th of September 2024. So in another 9 months or so, 9-10 months. As you can see, there's still some pretty heavy balances there, but we do have a plan in place, and I believe we're going to be updating that plan and bringing it to the board through Ed Services, I think maybe in early February, if not late January, kind of give you an update on the ESSER 3 report. Some of these other ones don't have to be spent until 26 and then 28, even pushing them further out. Those are the ones, the Educator Effectiveness Grant, the Learning Recovery Grant, the Arts and Music Grant. Those are the ones that the governor has targeted this past year. Hopefully he doesn't target those this year. So kind of upcoming challenges. I didn't go with the good, the bad, and the ugly or whatever I did the last time. Some upcoming challenges here. We continue to have special ed growth. We continue to have that moderate to severe services and housing that continues to go up each year. Remember, we service our own moderate to severe students, which is pretty incredible. We don't rely on RCOE to do that for us. That is a good thing, but it is it's something that we have to make sure that we're handling effectively. And then we have other specialized services that we've added over the years, and then also the instructional aides, as you even heard today. We have I think there's quite a few vacant positions in that, how we're going to be handling that. The TK classrooms, as I mentioned, and their new homes. Julie and her team certainly has a plan for those and the outdoor restrooms for the TK, but it's going to take a bit of time to get those in place, right? In the meantime, TK is going to be full effect by 25-26, and we'll see how much that TK grows. Based on the birth rates and stuff, we're not expecting it to grow too much. I was looking at the projections. We're doing okay with that, but there still may be a little bit of shifting around from school to school until we get the housing in place. So, and then of course we're still not finished with negotiations, and in a declining enrollment environment, that becomes a bit tricky. But we're working through it. We have great partnerships with our teams, and we're doing a real good job there. And then learning loss. Those after-school programs are super important for our kids, right? So I mentioned that ELOP could be on the table by the governor. I have heard one report that suggests that it might be reduced, not taken away, but I guess we'll have to see. And again, all this depends on the state funding. Where the state goes, we go. As you saw up there, another slide of we're very heavily funded by the state. So, it's that state aid. Unfortunately, we're not a basic aid district, which means that property taxes cover the entire amount of what we need. We are heavily reliant on that state aid. But in this particular case, and hopefully every case, we will have a recommendation of a positive certification. My team and I will continue to work and make sure that we have this in place, and work with the rest of the teams to make sure whatever cuts we're going to have to make, if any, we're truly discussing it, analyzing it, and basing it on data. So, any questions?
Do we have any questions, board members, at this time?
Yep. Thank you so much.
Thank you, and we give you a round of applause for all of the wonderful slides. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, so with that, can I get a motion to approve item 14C, approval of positive certification of solvency first interim for FY 2023-2024, OE 5.
I'll move.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. Okay, next we proceed to 14D, approval of the 2023-24 school plan for student achievement, SIPSA, OE 10.5 and OE 10.7. Can I get a motion to approve 14D?
I move.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, on to number 14E. Approval of work-based learning business and community partners, OE 10.5. Can I get a motion to approve 14E?
I'll move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. And then 14F, appointment of Palm Springs Unified School District representatives to the Riverside County SELPA Community Advisory Committee. That would be 14F. Can I get a motion to approve this item?
I move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Sure. Oh, I'm sorry. We'd like to go back. Board Member Espericueta?
No, for F. I have
F, for
we,
ki-
we are okay in that one.
Okay.
I had a comment. For
Oh, he has a comment.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, in this item, we are appointing two parents or members from the school district. And when I read the bylaw, give one idea about how many can we appoint. For example, they say the school district that have 2,500 special education pupil count, maybe represented by 5 members. These 2 members that we are appointed is the minimum required, or is addition to another 3 existing?
My understanding is the minimum requirement, but I'll check on that.
Okay.
Clerk Espericueta.
No,
Thank you.
is
that okay to
Yeah.
go ahead?
It's okay.
Okay. With that question being addressed, we'll go back to item 14F. With your permission, Board of Espericueta, we would like to get a motion to approve 14F, the representatives to Riverside County SELPA Advisory Committee.
Move for approval.
Second.
You did a second? Okay, thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, we move on to our approval of facilities, study session items, and future projects. This would be item 14G, OE 12.13. Can I get a motion to approve item 14G?
Move for approval?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Oops.
As we move on to 14H, we look at the approval of increased budget for Nellie Kaufman and Kaufman Middle School locker room, the renovation project, OE 12.13. Can I get a motion to approve item 14H?
Move for approval.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. On to 14I, approval to award bid number 04-24, field lighting project at Cathedral City High School, Desert Hot Springs High School, and Palm Springs High Schools, OE-6.14. Can I get a motion to approve item 14I?
I move.
I just have a comment. I just want to say that it's exciting to see all of these different projects going up in our school with the lighting to give our students an opportunity to have field lighting while they're playing sports and the hours where it gets dark pretty soon. So,
Thank you for your comments. That's good. Are there any other comments related to 14I?
Nope, agree.
All right. So did we ask for a motion? Yes?
Move for approval.
Okay.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So as we look at 14J, we've moved this item, correct? Mhm. To further down in the agenda.
Yes.
Between, you'll tell me when. Okay, thank you. It's here. Okay, thank you. All right. Next, we move to 14K, the approval of amendment number 3, leaseback agreement number 0004553 with West Coast Air Conditioning Incorporated for the Della S. Lindley Elementary School Modernization Project OE 12.1. Can I get a motion to approve item 14K?
move for approval.
Second.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, thank you. 14I, adoption of resolution number L. There we go, I'll make that a now. 14L, adoption of resolution number 2023-2024-17, approval of Palm Springs Unified Income Agreement number IN 000212 for our COE agreement number C1009264 with the Riverside County Superintendent of Schools for participation in the Head Start Early Head Start Sub-Award Agreement, Head Start Program Federal OE 10.8. Can I get a motion to approve 14L?
Move for approval.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Moving on to 14M, adoption of resolution 2023-24-18, certifying the final revised supplemental environmental impact report. Final revised SEIR, adopting findings as required, adopting the mitigation monitoring program for the Rancho Mirage High School field lighting project pursuant to the California Environmental Quality Act and the California Education Code, and approving the project and delegation of authority to staff to execute the notice of determination, which would be OE 12.9. Can I get a motion to approve 14M?
I move the motion.
I second.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Proceeding on to 14J, we look at the approval of award bid number 0-24, the field lighting project at Rancho Mirage High School, OE 6.4. Can I get a motion to approve 14J?
Move for approval.
One more.
I just
Got
got
some comment?
I got a comment.
Sure.
You said it's J?
Yeah.
Okay, did the prior motion, I mean, the item that we had, is that connected with that?
Yes.
Is that the reason why it was moved down?
Yes, it is. So we had to approve that SEIR report for the CEQA examination before we could actually get the approval for the actual project, so, yes.
So I move for approval.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you for the clarification and information.
Oh, man.
All right. 14N, adoption of resolution number 2023-24-19, finding the superintendent's office additions at the District Administration Center exempt from the California Environmental Quality Act and approving the filing and recording of a notice of exemption OA 12.12. Can I get a motion to approve 14N?
I move.
Second? Do we have a second?
I second.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. I'm gonna do it. No? I won't tonight. Okay. Thanks. All right. All right, thank you for the help and the questions being addressed. Okay, 14O, approval of correction to health and welfare benefits cap increase for board members, certificated administrators, classified managers, management confidential employees, and superintendents contract OE 4.9. Can I get a motion to approve 14O?
No move.
Second?
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. So we continue 14P with approval of compromise and release agreement number 2324-03 between parents and district dated November 22nd, 2023, OE 6.1. Can I get a motion to approve 14P?
Move for approval?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. All right, thank you.
You could do all those together and those together.
So as we look at our agenda, we're looking to unify and have one vote for the following items: 14Q, 14R, 14S, 14T, 14U, and 14V. All together, approval of. Right, read them all? Okay. Oh, there it is. Okay. In summary, can I get a motion to approve 14Q through 14V?
Move for approval?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Okay, again, we're going to unify 14W, 14X, and 14Y. So these are a motion to approve all three items. And so, can I get a motion to approve 14W through 14Y?
Move for approval.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right. Next, we look at the superintendent's consent items. All right, thank you. We're going to unify 14A through 14G, including the approval of acceptance of gifts, the approval of purchase order report, 15B, the approval of agreements under $10,000, 15C, 15D, the approval of agreements $10,000 or more and other contracts. E, approval of reclassify and destroy records. 15F, the approval of disposal of surplus property report. And 15G, approval of change order number 1 with R Dependable Construction for the Central Kitchen Freezer Project at the Nutrition Service Center agreement number C0004501. So before I ask for a motion, is there any discussion, or are there any questions about any of these items at this time?
I have a comment only for the 15D. I think I don't have to pull that one. Only it's a comment related about the information that is there. It's good information. I want to share with the public. Can I do it or
Sure.
or we have to? Yeah, in the 15D we are approving two contract. One is for the Rancho Mirage CTE for the Race Academy to extend the outdoor concrete paving, and the other one is that one is for 68,300. The other one is for 14,500. That one is to raise the lighting fixture to allow for vehicles to be raised. This agreement provide modification of duct work and lighting in the auto shop at Rancho Mirage High School. And yeah, I want to share the one with the public. That is a good information. Thank you, Madonna, for push the one hard, and we are moving forward this request. Yeah. And it's
So would you like us to pull that item or proceed?
No.
Just a comment?
Just a comment. Yeah.
Okay.
Not really this.
Are there any other comments? All right.
I just want to thank the Cathedral City Rotary and the Scrap Gallery for their donation to Sunny Sands Elementary School.
Great. Thank you. All right. So with that, can I get a motion to approve superintendent consent items 15A through 15G?
Move for approval.
Second.
Right. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passed. Next, board consent item 16, approval of meeting minutes from November 14, 2023. Can I get a motion to approve those minutes?
Move for approval.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, so as we look at our last item, the setting for the next board meeting, we are going to plan to meet as a regular meeting on January 9th, 2020. I'm sorry. May I please go back and go to item 17, suggestions for future agendas? Do you have any? Board Member Girardi, future agenda items? About
No.
Yes. Okay. I did have some recommendation that we continue to schedule for a future item, our state of the district for our board and for the public to share all the great information we have about the district. And I think Board Member Girardi also mentioned perhaps scheduling a future Brown Act training that would help us understand our procedures and following the Brown Act details. Is that right? We would want those two things?
It's up to the board.
Okay.
Yeah.
Would you like that, President Girardi, to revisit and have, let's just start that with that one. Let's talk about, how many of you would like to have the state of the district presented to the public in the near future?
In favor.
Okay, so that's 5 out of 5. And then how many of you would like to see a Brown Act training or study session or informational time set aside for that during a meeting? Or is that good for you?
Yeah, and I would like it to be not online, but just have someone to come in and kind of explain it to us and talk to us. Online is okay, but it's nothing like having an instructor to be able to bounce questions off of and do scenarios in different situations. So I would suggest that we have someone to come in and actually teach that if we're going to learn Brown Act.
Great. Okay. Do you have any future board items for us to talk about, board members? Juliana? No, not at this time. Okay. So, just wanted to know. So we look at setting our next board meeting for a regular meeting on January 9th, Tuesday, 2024, in our new year at 6 o'clock p.m. Okay? With that, is there anything anyone like to say in the debrief or final comments? Let's start.
Happy holidays.
Okay. How about Juliana or none? None at this time? Board Member Girardi, any final comments? Okay, and, okay, looks like we're all set. Anything else? Superintendent?
No, thank you.
All right. It's exciting to be here with you and to change seats, and I look forward to the new year in making our district shine as it always has been. Thank you so much. Oh, this is another new one that I get to ask. May I have a motion to adjourn tonight and go home?
Yes,
Get a
move
motion.
for approval.
Second.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.